Hello everybody. In this video we're going to do something different. We're going to do the best case scenario for the Republicans for the 2024 Senate map. So this is assuming everything goes their way. They sweep the swing states here. So let's just get right into it as we fill out these states. So I'm just going to set them up, all the obvious ones. West Virginia is a super obvious one. No good Democrats running there. Massachusetts, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Delaware, New York, and Minnesota. Amy Klobuchar isn't going to ever, even in a best case Republican scenario, get it down below 10%. I think she always wins by that margin. Maine with Angus King, he's a very strong and popular independent caucus Democrats. I don't think it gets to likely either. So let's just get right into this video. So the first few states, New Jersey, it only gets to likely blue if Menendez runs as an independent and somehow pulls a good amount of Democratic support away from the nominee who's likely going to be Andy Kim at this point. He pretty much basically won the primary already because there's really no one running against him. That's good. So it'll probably be a likely blue state in a best case Republican scenario. Virginia, I definitely think Tim Kaine outruns Joe Biden in the state of Virginia, so I have this as likely blue. I don't think Hung Kao is that good of a nominee. I don't think he's going to do that well statewide. I think that was just a fluke on what he pulled off in 2022, that he made it that close. In New Mexico, in a best case scenario, it would probably still be just a likely blue state here. I don't really think it'll be that competitive still. Going on to Florida, I think Rick Scott could win by a safe Republican margin in the Senate, honestly. In a best case scenario, I could definitely see that happening. In Texas, I think Ted Cruz is going to run a bit behind Trump in this state by a point or two. So in his best case scenario, he only wins by like 8%. In the state of Nevada, I do think Sam Brown isn't the worst nominee for Republicans. He's probably better than Laxalt to run in the state of Nevada. In the best case scenario, he definitely ends up winning the state by a lean Republican margin, probably by about 1.5%. Montana, Ohio, definitely flip in a best case scenario for Republicans. It could happen that Trump just wins Ohio by a pretty big margin, and there isn't enough ticket splitters to save Sherrod Brown. In Montana, that could be the same case here. Maybe Tim Sheehy runs a bit better for campaign than I think he's running. So that could also happen in Ohio and Montana. Arizona, I know this is a huge if, but if Trump wins Arizona by like 3 percentage points, which he could in a best case scenario, that's probably enough to drag Kari Lake to a narrow victory against Ruben Gallego, which I highly doubt would happen, but this is a best case scenario. So in a best case scenario, Kari Lake would win just because Trump drags her to the finish line. So going off to these next 4 states, in a best case scenario, Larry Hogan somehow retains all his support even by September or October if he's still leading in the polls. Honestly, that would probably make him a narrow favorite. So in a best case scenario, Larry Hogan could end up winning the Maryland Senate seat. So in Wisconsin, I also think Hooved could win in a best case scenario. There was one poll that even showed him in a very close contest with Tammy Baldwin, so it's very doable for him to potentially win. So I'd put this as a tilt Republican state. In Michigan, it's also possible, because it is an open seat and Slotkin isn't leading by a lot, that Mike Rogers could end up winning. He is a former congressman for the state. He's not a terrible candidate. So in a best case scenario, let's say Trump wins Michigan by like 2 or 3 points, then he could probably drag Mike Rogers to victory here in the state of Michigan. However, Pennsylvania with Bob Casey, the best, in the Republicans' best case scenario, they can only drag it down to a lean blue margin. They'll still end up winning in a nightmare scenario for Democrats. So in the Republicans' best case scenario for the 2024 Senate map, they could potentially flip 8 seats by flipping West Virginia, Ohio, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, and Michigan and Wisconsin. So they could potentially flip 8 entire seats here in their best case. And I'll probably do a best case scenario for the Democrats coming up next if you guys want that. But if you're new to this channel and enjoy political videos like this one, highly recommend subscribing. And if you disagree or agree with this video, let me know down in the comments below. Let me know if there's any states you would change, or any states you would change their margins on, or any video recommendation ideas. I always look into the comments for any ideas for future videos. But other than that, this is the current Republicans' best case scenario for the 2024 Senate races. I'll see y'all in the next one.